My friends, sometimes life doesn't test our strength, it reveals it. There comes a time when you're smiling on the outside, but breaking on the inside. A time when people say, be strong, but they don't see the storm inside your heart. You see, being strong doesn't mean you don't cry. It means you don't let the tears drown your hope. There are moments when everything feels heavy, relationships, responsibilities, rejections, and we start to wonder, why me? But maybe the better question is, what is this trying to teach me? Staying strong isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about holding on when nothing seems fine. Because strength is not built in comfort, it's built in chaos. So today, I want to remind you, stay strong always, not because life will get easier, but because you will get stronger, my dear friends. Let me tell you something that completely changed the way I see life. Pain is not a punishment. Pain is a teacher. But here's the problem. Most of us try to escape it. We run away from it. We label it as something bad. We say, why is this happening to me? Instead of asking, what is this trying to teach me? When you were in school, you had a teacher who gave you homework. Sometimes you liked it, sometimes you didn't. But you still did it because you knew it was helping you grow. In the same way, life gives us pain work, not homework, but pain work. And through that pain work, we learn lessons that comfort could never teach. Think about it. The strongest trees are not found in gardens where they're watered every day. They are found in the wild, where the winds challenge them, where the storms bend them, but don't break them. That's what makes their roots strong. Life is exactly like that. The people who grow the most, who shine the brightest, are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who went through fire and came out refined. You see, when life hurts you, it's not because it wants to destroy you. It's because it wants to develop you. Pain shapes your patience. Pain sharpens your understanding. Pain deepens your compassion. Without pain, you'd never know empathy. Without pain, you'd never appreciate peace. Without pain, you'd never discover your own depth. Sometimes God doesn't remove the pain because that pain is the very thing that is polishing your soul. I remember once someone asked me, why does God allow good people to suffer? And I said, maybe because He trusts them. He trusts that their heart can handle the lesson that pain brings. When gold is put in fire, it's not to burn it, it's to purify it. When pain enters your life, it's not to destroy you, it's to refine you. So, the next time you're hurt, instead of asking, why me? Try saying, thank you for teaching me. Because when pain becomes your teacher, suffering becomes your strength. Remember this, you don't grow when everything is easy. You grow when you face what you thought would break you, and it didn't. That's when you realize pain was never your enemy. It was your silent mentor, guiding you to the strongest version of yourself. My friends, we live in a time where everyone wants comfort, but very few want growth. Everyone wants success, but no one wants struggle. We want the fruit, but we don't want to climb the tree. But here's the truth. Struggles are not blocks on your path. They are your path. They are not obstacles meant to stop you. They are opportunities meant to shape you. When a seed is planted in the ground, it must first break before it can grow. That tiny seed has to push through the dark soil, face pressure, face resistance, face the weight of the earth above it. Only then does it rise into the light. If the seed could speak, it might say, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through so much darkness? But what it doesn't realize is that the darkness is where its strength is born. We too are like that seed. We cannot grow without pressure. We cannot rise without resistance. So don't run away from your struggles. Grow through them. When you run from difficulties, you also run from development. Every hardship is a hidden training ground. Every challenge is a silent coach whispering, "You are becoming stronger than you think." Now think about a diamond. A diamond doesn't form in comfort. It forms under intense heat and pressure. The more the pressure, the brighter the shine. And maybe that's what life is doing to you. Adding pressure, not to crush you, but to carve you into brilliance. I once met a young man who told me, "I'm tired of struggling. I wish my life was easy." I smiled and said, "Do you know how muscles grow?" He looked confused, so I continued, "They grow by tearing. When you lift weights, you're actually breaking your muscles, and your body rebuilds them stronger than before. If you never allow them to tear, they'll never grow. And it's the same with your soul. The struggle tears your comfort, but it rebuilds your character. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel tired, but don't stop there. Feel it and then move through it. Because if you quit when it gets hard, you'll never know how strong you could have become. Sometimes we look at other people and think they have it so easy. But you don't know their storms. You don't know the nights they cried silently. You only see their victory, not their battles. So, when life gets heavy, when you feel like giving up, remind yourself, this is the part where I grow. This is the part where life is planting something powerful inside me. Don't curse your struggle, bless it. Don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." Because every storm you survive teaches you to dance in the rain. Every failure you face builds your foundation for success. Every tear you shed waters the soil of your strength. Growth doesn't happen when things are easy. Growth happens when life gets uncomfortable and you still choose to keep moving. So my friends, stop running from your struggles. Walk through them, learn from them, grow through them. Because one day you'll look back and realize what you thought was breaking you was actually building you. And the person you became through that journey will thank you for not giving up. My friends, one of the greatest battles we ever fight is not with the world outside, but with the world inside. It's the battle between faith and fear. Fear says, "What if I fail?" Faith says, "Even if I do, I learn and rise." Fear says, "What if I lose everything?" Faith whispers, "What if you gain something far greater?" Fear screams, "You're not enough." Faith calmly replies, "You already are." You see, fear has a loud voice. It shouts in our heads, it echoes in our hearts. It paints pictures of everything that could go wrong. And when fear takes control, it paralyzes us, not because the danger is real, but because our imagination convinces us it is. Faith, on the other hand, speaks softly. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It whispers quietly, but powerfully, reminding you that no matter how dark the night gets, the sun still rises. When you live with fear, you live in doubt. When you live with faith, you live in possibility. Let me tell you a story. A man once stood at the edge of a cliff, holding a small kite. The wind was strong. He was scared it might carry him away if he let the string go too far. But he still decided to fly the kite. The higher it went, the stronger the pull. For a moment he thought, if I let go, I'll lose it. But what he didn't realize was that the string he was afraid to loosen was the very thing holding the kite down. Faith works like that. It asks you to loosen your grip on control, to trust the wind, to trust life, to to trust something higher than your fear. Fear says, hold on tighter. Faith says, let go and trust that you'll be caught. Many times, when life gets uncertain, when we can't see what's ahead, our mind begins to panic. We start thinking of all the ways things could fall apart. But what if we shifted our focus? What if, instead of asking, what if it all goes wrong, we ask, what if it all goes right? When a child takes its first step, it doesn't know if it'll fall or walk. But it trusts, it believes. That's faith in its purest form. But as we grow older, the world teaches us to doubt, to overthink, to hesitate. And yet, every major change in your life, every leap forward, began with one small act of faith. You took a job without knowing how it would go. You loved someone without knowing if they'd stay. You tried again after failing once or 100 times. That's not weakness. That's faith in action. Faith doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you won't bow to it. It means that even when your hands shake, you still hold on. Even when your voice trembles, you still speak. Even when your heart doubts, you still move forward. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep going in spite of it. Sometimes life pushes you to a place where everything seems uncertain, where doors close, where people leave, and where dreams collapse. And in those moments, fear becomes loud. It tells you it's over, but that's when faith must rise. That's when you remind yourself, if it's not good yet, it's not the end yet. A faith is trusting that the same power that got you through before will get you through again. When the caterpillar enters the cocoon, it doesn't know if it will survive. It doesn't see the butterfly yet. It just trusts the process. It surrenders. And after the darkness, it breaks free, transformed. Maybe your current struggle is your cocoon. Maybe life is asking you to trust, even when you can't see the wings yet. Faith is not logical, it's spiritual. Fear looks at the situation. Faith looks beyond it. So when fear says, you can't, faith says, watch me. When fear says, it's impossible, faith says, nothing is impossible. And when fear says, you're alone, faith gently reminds you, you never were. My friends, life will test you. There will be moments when everything feels uncertain, when you feel like giving up. But remember, fear builds walls, faith builds bridges. One keeps you stuck, the other moves you forward. Choose faith, not because it guarantees a smooth journey, but because it guarantees growth along the way. When you walk with faith, even if the road is rough, you will always find strength within. So the next time fear knocks on your door, send faith to answer it. You'll be surprised. There'll be no one standing there. My friends, one of the greatest influences in your life is not what you do, but who you walk with. The people you surround yourself with can either drain your soul or deepen it. They can either lift you higher or slowly pull you down, one conversation, one comparison, one careless comment at a time. You see, energy is contagious. If you spend your time around people who complain, you will slowly start to complain too. If you walk with people who criticize everything, you will start to see life through the same lens of negativity. But when you surround yourself with people who believe in you, even when you doubt yourself, something magical happens inside you. You begin to rise. No one succeeds alone. Even the strongest trees in the forest don't stand by themselves. Beneath the soil, their roots intertwine, sharing nutrients, sharing strength, keeping each other alive through storms. That's what a true circle does. They share strength in silence. Sometimes we think being strong means being independent of everyone. But true strength isn't isolation, it's connection. It's having the humility to say, I can't do this alone, and the wisdom to choose who stands beside you. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Because some people come into your life not to help you grow, but to feed off your light until you're dim. And here's the difficult truth. Sometimes the people who drain you the most are the ones closest to you. They might not mean harm, but their mindset, their energy, their way of living, it can suffocate your peace without even realizing it. My friends, your environment is more powerful than your willpower. You can have the best intentions, but if your circle is toxic, your soul will slowly suffocate. If you surround yourself with doubters, you'll start doubting too. If you surround yourself with dreamers, you'll start dreaming again. So take a moment and reflect. Who are the 5 people you spend most of your time with? Do they inspire you, or do they exhaust you? Do they remind you of your purpose, or do they make you forget it? Because one of life's greatest lessons is this: you become like the company you keep. If you sit with peace, you will feel peaceful. If you sit with chaos, you will feel chaotic. If you sit with wisdom, you will grow wise. If you sit with gossip, you will grow bitter. Surround yourself with people who make you forget to check your phone, because the conversation is deep, meaningful, and filled with light. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your progress, not your perfection, who clap for you when no one else does, who remind you of your worth when you forget it yourself. There's a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Choose rooms that challenge you. Choose friends that call you higher, not hold you back. You don't need a crowd of people. You just need a circle of truth. A few souls who see your scars but don't judge them. Who see your flaws but still choose to stay. Who remind you that you can fall 7 times and rise 8. And sometimes, my friends, staying strong doesn't mean pushing harder. It means stepping back and letting go of those who no longer align with your growth. It means loving people from a distance, not with anger, but with acceptance. You can't fly if you're carrying people who are afraid of heights. You can't heal if you're surrounded by those who benefit from your brokenness. Be kind, but be wise. Love deeply, but love consciously. Help others, but protect your peace. Find those who remind you of your values, your purpose, your spirit. Those who speak light into your darkness, truth into your confusion, hope into your hopelessness. When you surround yourself with the right people, you won't just feel stronger, you'll become unstoppable. Because in their presence, you remember who you are. And when you remember who you are, no challenge, no heartbreak, no failure can ever truly break you. So, choose your circle like you choose your future, carefully, consciously, courageously. Because one true friend with faith, love, and wisdom is worth more than 100 with opinions. My friends, there's a beautiful balance in life between holding on and letting go. And one of the hardest lessons we ever learn is when to do which. Sometimes we love so deeply, we hold on too tightly. We hold on to people. We hold on to expectations. We hold on to plans that no longer fit the person we're becoming. And when life tries to pull those things away, we fight back. We resist. We say, no, this is mine. This is how it's supposed to be. But the truth is, not everything or everyone that starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. Detachment is not coldness, my friends. It is clarity. It's not a lack of love. It's a form of higher love. It's not saying, I don't care. It's saying, I care enough to not let this control me. Let me share a story with you. Once, a monk was crossing a river with his disciples. As they walked along the bank, they saw a woman struggling to cross the water. The monk, without hesitation, lifted her, carried her across, and gently put her down on the other side. The woman thanked him and went her way. But the young disciple walking behind him looked disturbed. After hours of silence, he finally said, Master, how could you carry that woman? We've taken vows not to touch women. The monk smiled and replied softly, My son, I put her down hours ago. But you are still carrying her. That's what we do in life. We carry things long after we should have put them down. We carry guilt. We carry anger. We carry the memory of words that were never apologized for. And we wonder why our hearts feel so heavy. Detachment means learning to put things down. Not because they don't matter, but because you do. It means letting go of what's draining you, even if it once made you happy. It means allowing life to flow instead of trying to control every wave. Some people think detachment means cutting off emotions completely, becoming numb, becoming indifferent. But no, my friends, indifference is the absence of feeling. Detachment is the mastery of it. Indifference says, I don't care what happens. Detachment says, whatever happens, I will stay at peace. There's a difference between shutting your heart and freeing it. When you detach, you don't build walls around your heart. You open windows so that love can flow in freely, but also flow out without attachment or expectation. When you attach too deeply to outcomes, to how people should behave, to how plans should unfold, you set yourself up for suffering. Because the truth is, life doesn't always go according to your script. People change, seasons shift, situations evolve. And if you keep clinging to what was, you'll miss what is. Detachment doesn't mean you stop loving people. It means you love them without trying to own them. You care without controlling. You give without expecting. You hold space, not strings. A flower doesn't beg the bee to come. It simply blooms, and what's meant to be drawn to it naturally comes. That's the essence of detachment. Trusting that what's meant for you will always find you. Many times, pain comes not from what people do to us, but from our attachment to how we thought they should be. You expected loyalty, but got betrayal. You expected forever, but got goodbye. And in those moments, detachment teaches you not to stop loving, but to stop clinging. Because attachment says, I need you to be happy. Detachment says, I choose to be happy even if you're no longer here. The more you learn to detach, the lighter your spirit becomes. You stop forcing. You start flowing. You stop chasing closure from others and start finding peace within yourself. It's not easy. Letting go never is. But sometimes holding on hurts far more than releasing ever will. And here's the irony. When you finally let go, you often receive back what's truly meant for you, but in a healthier, freer form. So, my dear friends, don't confuse detachment with indifference. Don't think it means being emotionless. It's actually the most loving state you can be in, because your love no longer depends on conditions. You don't love to possess, you love to bless. You don't give to gain, you give to grow. You don't stay because you fear losing. You stay because your soul feels peace in that space. That's detachment. To be fully in the world, but not bound by it. To love deeply, but not desperately. To walk with others, but not lose yourself along the way. So, put down what you've been carrying. The past that hurts, the expectations that suffocate, the attachments that steal your calm. Let them go with grace, with love, with trust. Because when you detach from what's heavy, you rise higher. And from that height, you'll see clearly that what's truly yours will never require you to beg, to chase, or to suffer. It will simply stay because peace recognizes peace, my friends. How many times in life have you felt like everything was falling apart? When doors you prayed would open, slammed shut in your face. When things you worked so hard for slipped right through your hands. In those moments, it's easy to feel defeated. It's easy to believe that life is unfair, that the universe is against you, that somehow you failed. But what if I told you your setback is not the end of your story? It's the very setup for a greater chapter you cannot yet see. You see, life has a strange way of working. Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually redirection. Sometimes what looks like a breakdown is actually a breakthrough in disguise. But we rarely see it when we're in the middle of it, do we? Because pain clouds our vision. Disappointment drowns our perspective. And in the noise of our heartbreak, we forget that maybe, just maybe, life knows something we don't. Let me tell you a story. A young man once lost his job unexpectedly. He was devastated. That job was his dream, or so he thought. He cried, he prayed, he begged for things to go back to how they were, but nothing worked. A few months later, he started a small project from home. It didn't seem like much at first, but with time, that little idea grew into something far bigger than his old job could ever have given him. One day, looking back, he smiled and said, "If I hadn't been pushed out of that door, I never would have walked through this one." That's what setbacks often are, divine pushes, pushes that move you from what's comfortable to what's possible. When you lose something or someone, it's normal to hurt. It's okay to cry, to grieve, to feel lost. But don't get stuck there, because if you stop walking, you'll never discover the blessing waiting around the corner. Sometimes God closes a door not because He's punishing you, but because He's protecting you from a place that's no longer meant for your growth. Sometimes the path you were on leads to a destination far smaller than what you're capable of, and the only way for life to move you is to interrupt your comfort. I've learned something beautiful through every failure and fall. Pain has purpose. You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and say, "Thank God that didn't work out, because what came after was far better than I ever imagined." Every setback is like an arrow being pulled back. The further it's pulled, the greater the force when it's released. So when life pulls you backward, don't panic. It's only preparing to launch you forward with greater strength, greater clarity, and greater purpose. Sometimes the universe has to break your plan to protect your purpose. You might lose the job, the relationship, the opportunity, but what you'll gain is far more valuable wisdom, resilience, perspective, and strength. You see, comfort never teaches you who you truly are, but loss does, struggle does, failure does. Because it's in the moments when everything falls apart that you discover the parts of you that can never be broken. When Thomas Edison was working on the electric light bulb, he failed over 1,000 times. People laughed at him. But do you know what he said? "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that don't work." That is what turning setbacks into setups looks like. It's a mindset. It's saying, "I may fall, but I will fall forward." It's understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to it. Every disappointment carries a hidden gift. a lesson that prepares you for what's next. You might not see the pattern right now, but trust me, one day you will look back and realize that all those closed doors, all those painful detours, all those not yets were actually preparing you for your right now. Sometimes your delay is not your denial, it's divine timing. Because what's meant for you won't miss you, but it can't reach you until you're ready to receive it. So when life knocks you down, don't stay on the ground too long. Wipe your tears. Take a deep breath. Stand back up, and instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to prepare me for?" Because every setback has a sacred purpose. It's shaping your story in ways your present self cannot yet understand. One day, you'll meet the person you've become because of the pain you endured, and you'll thank every trial for molding you into them. So, my friends, stop cursing the detours. Embrace them. Stop mourning the closed doors. Bless them. Because sometimes not getting what you wanted is the greatest gift life could give you. Your setback is not your ending. It's the redirection that's guiding you to something far greater. Keep faith. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Because when you look back, you'll see life never took from you. It only traded something small for something truly divine, my friends. Have you ever noticed that sometimes it's not the world around us that destroys our peace? It's the storm inside us, the noise of overthinking, the echo of old wounds, the pressure of expectations, the constant need to control what we can't. In life, chaos is inevitable, but inner calm is a choice. You cannot stop the storm from coming, but you can learn how to stand still in the rain. You see, keeping your inner calm amid outer chaos is not about avoiding life's problems. It's about building a peaceful space within yourself that no storm can touch. Let me tell you something. Peace is not found when life is quiet. Peace is found when you are. There was once a wise monk who asked his students to paint a picture of peace. One painted a sunset over calm waters. Another painted a forest where sunlight gently touched the leaves. But one student painted a roaring waterfall with lightning in the sky, and in the middle of that chaos, a small bird sitting peacefully on her nest. When the monk saw that painting, he smiled. He said, "This is peace, not in the absence of noise, but in the ability to remain still within it." That's what inner calm looks like. Not running away from chaos, but staying grounded through it. My friends, your peace will be tested. People will misunderstand you. Situations will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. But none of that has the power to disturb your inner state unless you hand it that power. Every time someone angers you and you respond with silence instead of reaction, you are protecting your inner peace. Every time life throws uncertainty at you and you respond with trust instead of panic, you are growing spiritually. Every time your mind starts overthinking and you bring yourself back to the present moment, you are becoming the master of your emotions, not their servant. Peace doesn't mean everything around you is perfect. It means you're not controlled by what's imperfect. Think about a candle. Even in the darkest room, it doesn't fight the darkness, it just shines. Your peace is that light. You don't need to fight every battle, you just need to stay lit. When the outside world shakes, go inward. Close your eyes, take a breath. Ask yourself, what's happening within me right now? Because often, it's not the situation, it's our reaction to it that creates the chaos. Your peace begins when your reaction ends. If you can control your mind, you can control your world. If you lose control of your mind, Even a small problem will feel like the end of everything. The great philosopher once said, "No one can harm you without your permission." That means no one can take away your peace unless you give it to them. Sometimes we allow small things to ruin big moments. Someone says a harsh word and we carry it all day. A plan doesn't go as expected and we lose our calm for hours. Why? Because we forget that peace is an inside job. The problem isn't the traffic, it's our impatience. It's not the person, it's our attachment to how we think they should behave. It's not the failure, it's our belief that failure defines us. When you start observing instead of reacting, peace starts to grow like a silent flower in your heart. Meditation, prayer, reflection, they're not just spiritual practices. They're maintenance for the mind. Just like your body needs rest, your mind needs stillness. Every morning, give yourself a few minutes to just be. No phone, no noise, no distraction, just silence. That silence is medicine for your soul. My friends, calmness is not weakness, it's strength under control. Anyone can shout, anyone can panic, but it takes true power to smile in chaos and say, "I will not let this shake me." A calm person isn't someone who never gets angry. It's someone who learns how to pause before reacting. Someone who knows that not every comment deserves a response. Not every battle deserves a warrior. Remember, you don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't need to respond to every negativity thrown your way. Sometimes peace means walking away, not because you're weak, but because you've grown. Your peace is your power. Protect it like treasure. Don't let your emotions be controlled by someone who doesn't even know your heart. Don't let one storm convince you that the whole sky is falling. Every storm passes. Every wound heals. But the calm you build inside, that stays. So when life feels like it's spinning out of control, pause. Take a deep breath. Place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, I am still here. I am still breathing. This moment will pass because it always does. And when it passes, you'll realize something profound. The calm you created inside yourself was never dependent on the world outside. Peace doesn't come when life stops being chaotic. It comes when you stop letting chaos live rent free in your mind. So stay calm, my friends, not because the world is easy, but because you've learned that nothing is stronger than a peaceful mind.